We'll call this meeting to order.
Roll call for the City Council meeting of Wednesday, March 19th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Council members Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon.
Thank you. I'm going to ask us all to stand for Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. If I can get up. Give me a help up. Yeah.
Council President Mel Witherspoon, I would like to mention in our moment of silence a few people who have experienced tragedy this week. We had a young woman who was found deceased at the bottom of her stairwell, so I hope that her family and everyone who she knows is able to be comforted in these days. And we had a few motor vehicle accidents and motorcycle victims who I'm not quite sure how they're doing, but I did see the news report, so they are in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you.
Mr. President, excuse me, I would also like to mention Lou Baxter's wife, Connie Shoup, passed away. They had taught my husband and I dance lessons throughout the Erie area community, and they are very, very active in the community.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Grab that on. Okay. You got it, Mike.
Presentation first.
I'll take approval of minutes.
Approval of the minutes from the March 5th, 2025 City Council meeting and copies of bills under the dates March 21st and 28th, 2025. Council members Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon.
Thank you very much. We have a presentation from the mayor.
And Mr. Witherspoon, you can stand right there if you want. I'm very happy to present to you something you received last month, but I don't think it was read publicly. So this is in recognition of Mel Witherspoon and his service to the Police Athletic League. Whereas the Erie Police Athletic League programs help reduce crime in our neighborhoods, promote positive character development, and improve educational outcomes for our children by inspiring Erie youth to realize their full individual potential as productive members of our society and to avoid criminal activity. Whereas Mr. Mel Witherspoon has been a remarkable leader in our Erie community, dedicating nearly 35 years to advocating for our youth. After a standout basketball career at Gannon, which I watched a lot of your games, Spoon envisioned a program in the city of Erie which would unite young people through love of basketball, leading to the creation of Spoon's Summer Basketball League back in 1990, which is still going very strong today. Congratulations. Whereas Mel collaborated with Erie PAL during Celebrate Erie for a PAL Spoons 3-versus-3 basketball tournament that will remain for years to come still. This partnership showcases his ability to bring together diverse groups and create opportunities for kids from all walks of life, no matter their background or neighborhood, east side, west side, upper, lower. Spoon fosters a sense of community and teamwork in every game. Now therefore I, Joseph E. Schember, the mayor of the city of Erie, hereby proclaim the 22nd day of February, 2025, Mel Witherspoon for his dedication to the Erie Police Athletic League, which provides the opportunity to enhance relationships between law enforcement and the community especially our youth. I encourage all residents to help us transform Erie by celebrating the success of the Erie Police Athletic League and supporting our efforts to lift up all Erie youth so that they know they are valued, loved, empowered to achieve their full potential. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Mel Witherspoon?
Mr. President, may I further embarrass you here for a second?
Why not? It seems like it's been going on for a while.
I wasn't here when you had your first proclamation from Pell. You'll never hear him say it, but when you talk about people that have power, it's not the people who can make things happen. It's the kind of people who can stop bad things from happening. Just ask any of the neighborhoods where Mel has his kids from that program over the years. When Mel speaks, people listen. And now I'm done embarrassing him. I'm very proud to call him friend. Thank you, Mel.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. All the tough things are done, so let's move on. I believe that's repository sales. Are there any repository sales today? If there are any repository sales. And finally, are there any repository sales? Hearing none, we have public comments. If you would like to address council, please come to the mic. Give us your name and municipality, and you have 5 minutes to address council.
My name is Freda Tepfer, and I live in Erie. And first, I'd like to invite people on Saturday, March 29th, to join the Erie Bird Observatory and Audubon Society at Trek to see the movie Lights Out, Texas, to get a better appreciation of how we can all manage our outdoor lighting at night to make it safer for birds. I'm also here to talk about the ordinance, the proposed ordinance for to make it unlawful to have ghost guns and machine gun converters. And this is an ordinance that's already been passed by several other jurisdictions, and so far is the Commonwealth Court has says it's okay. Now, we know that there are guns, legal and illegal, in the city, and that have been involved in crime. And these are guns that are not traceable in any way because they're printed. They're 3D printed guns, and they can be assembled in 30 minutes. So this is an opportunity to use a proven piece of legal document to restrict those. And we also know that machine gun converters have been involved in some very serious mass killing events. It's bad enough that people are out there shooting people, but to be able to shoot more people faster is worse. So I encourage the city to pass this ordinance, and I also am concerned that there not be anything that the rental community is able to do to allow their tenants to unknowingly waive their right to receive their legal rights. And that you are doing some kind of a tenant ordinance, maybe you should put that in that ordinance. I would suggest that. Also, in the revolving and the other loans that the city gives out, I think there should be a procedures that nobody should be getting a loan that has a quality of life violation, that has had a complaint against them to failure to maintain their sidewalks free and clear all year round, We should not be loaning and giving money to businesses that are not acting in good faith. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Set my own timer here so I know what's coming. There we go. My name's Gary Lackey. I've been up here a couple of times talking about this little message from God that I felt like was for our city leaders. And personally, on my personal level, I so appreciate all of you have the guts to do what you're doing, to try to get up and help the city govern. We need government in our times. And one of the things that this little booklet and the message from Daniel points out is that we live in some of the most difficult times to govern, as we have clay and iron trying to mix and they don't stick together. And so we're ever sliding down further on this scale, from when Daniel wrote this 3,500 years ago to where we are now. We're not quite down to the 10 toes, but there is a 10-toe season coming up here, which is like in the book of Daniel, you'll see there's an alignment between like 10 kings that comes in the latter end of this season of mankind being able to rule themselves before Jesus returns as this huge rock on the second page. And that day has come. But until then, he's come and left, and now he's in that invisible realm that he wants us to connect with him in by the Spirit. And I spoke in this from his word about being born again so we can know that kingdom's influence in our own lives. And so my prayer for us all is that we would be able to tap into what he wants us to know and do in our city. That's not clay or iron, it's stone. It's a whole different element that I believe we can get there, but I believe there's some writing on the wall, like as in this story. In the day Daniel saw, or they saw the writing on the wall, literally, in the day Nebuchadnezzar's son Belshazzar was trying to lead the kingdom, and it was literal. Today, it's not. It's more like, can you feel the winds of change that are blowing? Can you sense that there's change? And I perceived it in the fall when you guys have brought up and are still thinking about home rule charter. That's a really big deal of change. And I don't know how well the city can handle it, but I would just commend you for at least looking to see how we might find a way as a city to continue to navigate the years and days ahead. I think the federal government has seen a huge wind of change, and we're seeing it now, and there's a lot of upheaval. I don't think we're immune from it coming here. I mean, we're all going to live in the kind of tearing that comes from the far left to the far conservative right that's now, we're now living in. And so I encourage us all to consider, as best you can, this tapping into the kingdom of God, this being born again. It's not a hard job. It's not, and it's available to any of us. It's not like, I'm not talking about going to church. I'm talking about you on a personal level, us on a personal level, connecting with the Spirit of God through the pathway that's been made, Jesus Christ. So, brothers and sisters, I commend you, but I also forewarn, I think the winds of change are coming, and we need to brace for them, but yet know a way to navigate through them with him. I don't know that I think I might be done talking about this subject. I didn't know for sure I was coming up tonight, but I just didn't want to leave it lay there. I have a few extra copies if any of you feel the need to read that little booklet. Any of you out there feel like you'd need to read this little booklet I prepared for all the city leaders, just grab me for the night. So I think my 5 minutes is about up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Carlos Mora, 1995 Perry Highway. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak here, City Councilman, Mayor Chamber. I have three things in mind. The first, I'm very happy that we are discussing the passage of, or at least the lecture, the reading of this ordinance. We all know the problem with gun violence in this country. We all know how many children have died. We all know the cost of violence and blood and shed. And I'm an immigrant that comes from Colombia, and I've seen the real consequences of an open armed conflict. And yeah, perhaps this reading of this ordinance might not have much teeth in the, people might perceive it that way, but it's a very useful and ideological thing that we need to do. The second thing that I want to address is recently in the past, well, not recently, it happened in the past few days. There was an article from the EV Time News saying that the Apartment Association is trying to press renters to waive their rights from the bill of the Spiritual Coalition that passed last year. And I'm wondering how are you guys feeling about that? Because that's simply not okay. More than 50% of the people in the city is a renter. They are very hardworking Americans. And if they don't know their simple rights, and we are actively waiving them the right to know their rights, I think that's simply just un-American. So I would like to see what's the council and the mayor's opinion on that. And lastly but not least, our organization, a nonpartisan organization, is hosting a judge and mayoral debate. Everyone has accepted, and I would like to formally invite Mayor Chamber. I have reached out to different channels, and I hope right now you'll be able to receive the information and accept to join the debate. It's not a debate, sorry. There is no room for rebuttal. Just questions so the people can see your perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Mary and I live in the city of Erie. I just feel like the public safety and sidewalks, like during, election days and other events where people cannot get around, who have trouble walking and or in wheelchairs. That is a safety concern, and I want to know what you guys are going to do to help, especially Manager Shaver, what you guys can do to kind of make it feel safer so people don't feel so scared to be coming to meetings, be able to get out, go into events or to concerts, for people who cannot access those facilities. So it's just, I wonder what you guys are going to do to step it up and be able to help us feel safer so we don't have to feel so victimized. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Charlotte, City of Erie. And I'm here to ask somebody to go look at the signage at the parking authority ramp by St. Vincent's Hospital. You cannot see when you drive in until you've already taken your ticket that you can only get out with a credit card. Now, I didn't see that, so I didn't have a credit card that day, had money, but nobody wanted to take my money. And when you press the little button, you talk to the guy in the office and he tells you, get a credit card. They've been around for 50 years. And it's like, but I don't have it with me and I have money, and they don't answer you. So I think you really need really huge signs on the outside, especially before you get the ticket, to say, credit card use only. Because it's not fair. Because if you forget your card at home for some reason, you've lost it, or you don't have a credit card at all, you're in a predicament. It's not fair. Thank you.
I agree with you. I was in that same position, and I held up probably 10 cars.
Well, I was trying to figure out how to call the police non-emergency line, and the girl finally decided to let me out and took my money. But you have to understand, Hammett has a parking thing that says, pay before you leave, and when you go in, there's a machine that takes cash. So I don't understand why they decided to make it more difficult for people who don't want to use a credit card for $4 and who may not have a credit card. It could have been stolen. They could have been compromised where they can't use a credit card. You know, it's just better signage. Somebody's got to go take pictures and look at it and see how you would feel. And thank you, sir, Mr. Witherspoon.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Strasser. Live on the Lower East Side of Erie. Have been a lifelong resident of the East Side of Erie. And this evening I'm here to talk about the Erie Coke Plant meeting that I attended on February 19th at East Middle School in the evening. So that was run mainly by the Port Authority, and they were looking for suggestions from the residents of Erie on what we thought the land should be utilized for, or something to be built there after it's cleaned up. So after a while, I thought about a number of things, as did a lot of other people that were there. They broke us up into groups and then had the groups do their presentations, which I wasn't like really prepared for that. I had already prepared my presentation and paperwork and all that, but I went through that. But after consideration and thinking of some of my thoughts, I ran it through. As you all know, I'm kind of becoming a big advocate of artificial intelligence, AI. So I ran it through there, and it actually gave me a suggestion that I really thought was very interesting and may be able to be applicable to that waterfront land. So what the suggestion was is that the Port Authority in Erie should consider putting in a shipping cargo port facility there, so that it can, that cargo port area would service the Great Lakes and the Midwestern states of the United States. We already have some of the infrastructure there with the Bayfront Highway really close by to where that land is. Not saying that they would necessarily run down through where the Bayfront is, but maybe take the other way up through Harbor Creek and catch 90 and 79 through that avenue. So it would create hundreds of jobs and generate much private sector revenue and taxes for the city of Erie. Again, as an independent, highly fiscally conservative person, part of what I look at for the city of Erie is trying to stay away from the federal monies, things being funded by the private sector. And the way that we know things have gone in the last election and stuff, we're probably not going to get a lot of those government fundings. In fact, we all know what's taking place right now. So I'm trying to think of things that we could utilize for private sector to build in the city. So along the lines of that, though, in talking with the Port Authority staff at the end, and they presented that it would probably take anywhere from 10 to 15 years before that site is going to be ready to go. So I kind of countered with them that, okay, maybe that time we probably wouldn't have the hundreds of jobs and stuff by that time, because it would probably be fully automated at that time. However, if robotics and stuff are doing the work and generating the revenue, the city would still be able to capitalize on that. But that, like I said, the 10 to 15 year range was kind of shocking for me to hear that it was going to take that long. And then after the meeting and paying attention to the news and stuff and things that are going on at the federal level and all the cuts and reappropriating of funds and all that, one of the things that the administration had said that they're looking to do is to increase or revitalize the Navy. So just another thing that I thought is maybe we look at possibly a smaller naval shipyard facility to build medium and small-sized naval vessels there. And that way you would at least be tied in with the federal government, and who knows, that could maybe lead to other projects and other revenue sources and stuff. So that's pretty much all that I have for tonight. I will let you know of other things in future coming months. If anyone wanted to talk to me about things, I'll be available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other citizens to be heard? Are there any other citizens to be heard? Are there any other citizens to be heard? Hearing none, we'll continue with the agenda.
Ordinances for final passage. Council file number 16506, official ordinance number 17-2025, appropriating the sum of $21,600 from unappropriate and anticipated revenue to be received from a community partnership program grant administered by the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, DCNR, and providing for the expenditure therefore of. Sponsored by Councilmember Flores, seconded by Councilmember Nelson, that Council File Ordinance Bill number 16506, and now known as Official File Ordinance number 17-2025, be finally passed by City Council. Council members Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon. City Council passes Official File Ordinance number 17-2025, finally by yeas 7, nays 0. Ordinances for first reading. Council File number 16507, an ordinance amending Part 7, General Offenses, to establish Article 723, entitled Unlawful Manufacture of Firearms, to add definitions, to add prohibitions on the use of three-dimensional printers, to impose prohibitions relating to the transfer, use, or conversion of unfinished firearms and certain equipment, the manufacture of firearms, and to prescribe additional penalties for violations of this article. Sponsored by Councilmember Titus, seconded by Councilmember Nelson, that Council File Ordinance number 16507, having been read, is hereby adopted on first reading by City Council. Councilmember Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon. City Council read and adopt Council File Ordinance number 16501 by yeas 7, nays 0 on first reading. Council File number 16508, an ordinance appropriating the sum of $19,900 from unappropriated and unanticipated revenue to provide for the expenditure, therefore, for purchase of the golf course equipment. Sponsored by Councilmember Brzezinski, seconded by Councilmember Troop. Council File number 16508, having been read, is hereby adopted on first reading by City Council. Council members Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Troop, Titus, and Witherspoon. City Council read and adopt council file ordinance number 16508 by yeas 7, nays 0 on first reading. City Council file number 16509, amending the codified ordinances of the City of Erie, namely Article 330, landlord and rental, by amending subsection 330.03B2, residential rental unit registration required, to modify the rental registration requirements, to update the rental registration process and procedure, to enhance and improve the health, safety, and welfare of residential renters inside the City of Erie, and to enhance and improve the quality of residential housing for renters inside the City of Erie. Sponsored by Councilmember Titus, seconded by Councilmember Flores. Council file ordinance 16509, having been read, is hereby adopted on first reading by City Council. Councilmembers Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon. City Council read and adopt council file ordinance number 16507 by yeas 7, nays 0 on first reading. Okay. I'm sorry, 16509, having been read and adopt by yeas 7, nays 0. Old business. Pursuant to PA 47 PS 4-461 B3 and the public hearing held on Wednesday, March 5th, 2025 at approximately 9:30 a.m. in City Council Chambers, 626 State Street, Municipal Building, Erie, PA, concerning the intermunicipal transfer of liquor license number R-18678 from Dollar Limited Incorporated, doing business as Lakeside Tavern, 12774 Route 19 South, Waterford, PA, 16441, Erie County, PA, to Country Fair Incorporated, to be utilized at a retail facility located at 2266 East 38th Street, Erie, PA 16510, Erie County, PA, per request of Barry J. Klanowski, AVP, Council United Refining Company, 15 Bradley Street, Warren, PA 16365, be hereby approved. Councilmember Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon. This
Motion to
takes-
move the balance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Motion to move the balance. Any separations?
Number one.
Motion to move the balance. Councilmember Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, and Witherspoon. Number one. That Erie City Council extends the city property tax payable at a 2% discount from March 31st, 2025 to April 30th, 2025. The stormwater fee at 2% discount will also be extended to April 30th, 2025. The due date for city property tax at face value deadline will remain the same, payable at the face amount until May 31st, 2025.
I separated this because I For one thing, I applaud council for doing this, but primarily, I want to make sure that the Treasury Department figures out just how much money they had to spend because of the county situation with their taxes. That's why we're doing this, because I don't know if they're still in court or they're giving it up or whatever they are, but we don't know what the county tax is going to be yet until they go to court and figure it out. That puts a lot more work on the treasurer's office, and I just want to make sure we get paid for what they have to do. It's not our fault, and I'm sure a lot of folks are probably happy to get another month, but we still have to pay the bills. Again, I just want to make sure we get that money that the Treasury Department, Treasury Office has to use to get this done. I know it's been very cumbersome. Thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none.
Voting on the resolution, Councilmember Brzezinski, Flores, Nelson, Schaaf, Titus, Troop, Witherspoon. Resolution passes 7-0.
Okay, committee reports. We'll start to my left.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I attended a special meeting today, Historic Preservation Committee, and they would like to make a presentation to us shortly in April before a meeting to talk about their progress that they have made so far and their 5-year plan. So I support their meeting, and the commission is doing a great job. I thank them for it, and I would like to say that I am not against motorcycles per se, but I am against purposely revving up engines and speeding up and down city streets and highways. Like one of the very first days that was nice, I was walking along down by the bay where the hotels are, and it was just like the first nice day, and there's already motorcycles speeding up and down State Street in that short area because they can't go all the way through because of the construction going on. And even today, while we were having our meeting, I could hear them outside. I don't know if you happen to hear them, but purposely revving up. We have to do something about that, and the speeding has to stop. I was parking my car, getting out, and someone just whizzed by me. It's 25 miles per hour. We have to start going our speed limits. So I would like to congratulate Officer Tom Borelli, who's celebrating a legacy of service, who started his career with the police department on August 1st, 2001. He joined the Quebec unit on February 2nd, 2008, and he has been with the apartment or the housing authority for a long time. And it says, from my interview with Mr. John Horan in 2008 to this year as a City of Erie police officer, I have always felt that this is where I belonged. So his compassion and care for the community, He initiated the stuffed animal program to provide comfort to children who witnessed domestic violence incidents. His dedication also extended to youth outreach, where he served as an instructor at the Quebec Kids Police Academy. So he will be missed as he retires from that. So thank you, Officer Tom Borelli, for your service. Tomorrow, there's a Quality of Life meeting at the Quality of Life Center, East 19th Street, I believe. And there's a lot going on, actually, tomorrow. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Troop.
Mr. President, I'd like to just announce again that the Redevelopment Authority is outside of our meeting today. If anybody needs any help there, just want to echo our Mayor Schember on his words about you. I guess you could be called a quiet giant that's been in our community for a long time. And just want to recognize the citizens that came out tonight. It takes a lot to come out and, to voice your opinion and say things, even if you don't. Just thanks for being here. I'm going to mention their names: Freda, Gary, Carlos, Mary, Charlotte, and Bob. Thanks for kind of write down some of the things you talk about. So it's interesting just to hear that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You took a lot of things I was going to say, Mr. Troop. Thank you very much. Appreciate especially the gentleman talking about the Port Authority. Everything's in the stages of development, and every idea is a valuable idea. Some will work, some may not work, but the bigger pot we have, when you said 15 years, you were very, very nice. It's going to take longer than 15 years to clean that place up. But once it's clean, we're going to have one beautiful diamond down there. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful area, but we have to do it right. Going on from that, I'm working with Double T. That's what I call Tyler Titus. He's the zoo man. I'm the Erie events man, and we're trying to put together a deal where we can save the zoo. It's been a part of everybody's lives. I know I had our 4 boys and daughter go through there, spend a lot of hours there. Not my favorite smell in the world, but the kids had a great time. And we don't want to lose something as beautiful as that. So and I give Ty a lot of credit. He's doing a lot of work behind the scenes to try to pull this together. It is a huge task. That being said, the Port Authority is going full bore. Pretty soon, the little tigers are coming back, not at the zoo, but at 10th and French, talking about the seawolves. I was fortunate enough to go down to Lakeland and see those little tykes play on a major league field. We're going to have some real exciting ball players here this year, really exciting ball players. So mark the dates. April 4th is the opening game, and plan to be there, because you're going to see these kids won't be around too long. In a couple of years, they're going to be up with the big boys. They're that good, believe me. I thank you very much for your time, and I thank all you folks, like Mr. Troop had said, for having the guts to come up here and speak your mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want me to go?
Yes.
All righty. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming and joining us tonight on our meeting. I wanted to go over the St. Patrick's Day Parade that we had on Saturday. It was a great turnout. You can tell that the community of Erie is ready for spring and summer. Everybody wants to be outside, so it was a great showing. But with being outside, you notice that there's quite a lot of litter and trash scattered all throughout the city. It kind of looks like trash bags were exploded on trash pickup night. So I want to see what we can do to intentionally avoid that. I don't know if I have to have a meeting with Public Works to talk about, is it the fact that people aren't filling the trash bins with trash bags, or are they getting exploded when you're dumping them? But we have to do better, because we border the lake, that's fresh water. It's very important for us to make sure that we're not allowing trash to fill our lake. I don't know what we can do, but that we need to do better. I just wanted to also mention that also with spring, you notice a lot of mattresses and sofa being left on sidewalks, and sometimes they're there for long periods of time. The city does offer a large item pickup. You can request for 3 items to be picked up, and that phone number is 814-870-1550. They will come and pick it up. You don't have to have it outside obstructing the sidewalk. We have a lot of elderly and disabled people who use medical equipment who need to get around our city, and having them in the streets when people are speeding because it's nice weather is not safe. We have a speeding issue. We have to address that. There's a lot of things that are connecting that we can do our own little thing to try to address. And then another thing I wanted to mention is that the potholes that everyone says are horrendous in the city are horrendous, but you can request for that pothole to be filled if you call 814-870-1340 and give them an exact location, exactly where, between what streets is the problem. We cannot be all over the city, but if the community is doing what they can to address the issues in their neighborhoods and on their streets, we can try to make our city very, very drivable this coming spring and summer, because everyone is going to be out. That's all I have to report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen to Jasmine about the pothole thing. I call them on a regular basis. I don't tell them who I am. Like, I make a point of, like, leaving my name out of the business. And I've seen them fill a pothole within an hour of a call. Like, they really do get after that. Yeah. In the last 2 weeks, last week I was at the Gannon had a breakfast for elected officials where they talked about what the different vision they have moving forward is. They just acquired a campus in Ohio, so there was some discussion about that. There's obviously a changing climate to bringing in international students to study. That's been a big part of their revenue stream for years, so they didn't get nearly as many visas as they typically do. A reduction of, I think they said 93%. So they talked about some of the challenges that they have ahead of them with that. I did Read Across America. I always pick the Lorax because that's the longest Dr. Seuss book. I find that the students really appreciate me wasting as much time as possible. I find that
Keep them out of class.
I find that the teachers appreciate it the most. So I usually bust out the Lorax for them. And then I had an opportunity to bring Chris Groner to a community organization that deals with housing, along with our new assistant manager, code enforcement, that will be taking over that bureaus in the next year, and our new rental inspection code enforcement officer. So I brought the 3 of them to meet with a community organization, to have questions answered, and to talk about where some of the bottlenecking is as far as the enforcement of these issues. I think it helped really understand how community organizing can be better utilized to get to issues at the court level with district judges, as well as a few other things we could do to communicate with each other better. Some of the suggestions that came up in public comment that I want to address, the business loan thing, I think we have language in this landlord thing, and it's in the same department. I think that's a fair thing, a fair suggestion to consider, and I know it's been suggested multiple times in the last 3 years I've been here. I finally, the guy that comes and preaches, he gave us his number last time. I finally remembered to text him. Looking forward to trying to discuss with him Old Testament eschatology and apocalyptic literature and how it applies to civil government. The tenants' rights bill, we still don't know what they're going to do to make that different. That's one of the big things. So, we try to get those things done when we write the ordinance. If there's going to be a response or a countermeasure, then we have to measure what the measures are. Like we could be proactive to only some degree, but it's important to understand what we would be addressing. And then I appreciate the comments about the Port Authority site. What I really appreciate about that is knowing how much money we spend on consultants and wondering how soon is that AI will just take care of it for us. Well, we'll get there. And if the first consultant we hire for that comes back and says what AI told us, we'll know where they got their information. But that concludes my report for these 2 weeks.
Thank you very much.
All right. Wanted to first start as the Erie's Youth Liaison to just kind of talk about a couple of things that they have going on. In addition to the conversations that we've been in for the past several months, they also have the Lantern Festival coming up from April 17th through June 15th. And they have a Spring Egg Adventure Saturday, April 19th from 10 to 2, sponsored by Burger King. There's going to be free face painting with Terradoodles, scavenger hunt for a chance to win a bunny bundle, an egg hunt at the Primate Patio, an animal art show, and sand art for additional costs on that part of it. But I think this is another great way that they're doing some more community events and trying to get people together and involved and out. On Monday, we had the Erie Land Bank. They met. They made several key decisions. So this was the first time I got to sit in due to the flu that I had last time that they met. And it was really, there's a lot of movement and there's a lot of thought that is going into how do we get these properties back up and sold and so that people can develop on them. And so they approved looking at a realtor so that they can get more exposure, more eyes on these properties. Again, with the goal being getting them to be redeveloped into viable housing or community assets overall. They're also exploring an initiative for an incentive program for buyers and developers. And I'm looking forward to when this comes out in its full completeness here, because I think that it creates just another tool, another avenue for people who maybe have barriers presented to them when it comes to land owning or buying and developing, that this will be an asset that they could use. So I'm curious and excited to see when this comes out. We also have some study sessions that I want to make sure that we announce. We've got 3 important ones coming up. We've got the Home Rule Charter Session number 2 on March 27th. So we're going to continue the discussions on what that looks like and hopefully come out of there. And I'm going to show my bias here. Hopefully coming out of there with being ready to present a resolution so we can get moving on this. What's that? Ordinance. Thank you. On April 10th. We have another study session on the immigration and refugee status. It's going to be more of an education session around the briefing on federal policies and some of the executive orders that are related to some of the detentions and deportations and the impacts that they're having on Erie. So I'm looking forward to that. And then on April 3rd, we have a DCED, or the HUD report funding from Deb Smith. And so we'll get more insight on where some of the money is going to be going and some of the community assets that will be supporting. That's on April 3rd. The public is encouraged and welcome to come to all of those. And in closing, we are in the municipal election season. In case we all didn't know, many City Council knows very well. We have many seats are up this year. But when we talk about getting to know who's going to be in those or on those ballots, getting to know the candidates is really key here. So on March 24th, Erie County Democratic Party has a forum at 5:30. They'll be going over the mayoral, city council, and county executive candidates. March 29th, we've got the Erie County United Forum. And then on March 22nd, which is 2 days, is the Erie Regional Chamber Mayoral Forum. From what I'm understanding, though, that one's already sold out, to provide some insight on just the candidates and their plans for the city of Erie. And just remember that civic engagement is essential and that these forums provide an opportunity to understand each candidate's vision for the city. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. I attended the legislative breakfast at Gannon along with Councilman Nelson, and I attended the zoo meeting along with Councilman Dr. Titus and Ed Brzezinski. The information was very important, interesting, but we as a council body will review what we have to review and make some decisions on which way we will go or recommend we go to the city, because it's not going to be a cheap date, and we aren't sure at this time what we're going to do. I have a lot of confidence in Dr. Titus and what he's doing with the zoo project, and he will take the lead for council on this and present us with his ideas and thoughts. The Erie Housing Authority is doing quite well at this point in time. They, about halfway through their strategic plan, Their consultants were in town February 25th to 27th. They're halfway through. The mayor, Renee Lamus, and myself were interviewed by one of their consultants. The consultants interviewed their board members and staff, and they plan to present their findings April 3rd at a retreat, place to be announced, and to the staff it will be April 4th. They don't anticipate any problems or negativity, maybe a few adjustments. But they have been working very, very hard. I was pleased to see that they have 1,167 volunteers through their contracts with various agencies. Thank you very much. Any report from the attorney?
No report.
The mayor.
And I'll be very brief. I just wanted to, first of all, thank all the citizens who joined us today. We really appreciate you being here, and we'd like to hear more of you speak as well. And I want to thank everyone here on stage for the work you guys do and the great work, including the people at desks on this side as well. So I'm honored to be part of this. I really enjoy it. And I think if I stop now, we'll be done in less than an hour. So that's all I have to say for now.
Report. Mike? Mike, any report?
Mr. President,
No
Mr.
report.
President, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I forgot, my friend wanted me to tell everyone that they have charger stations at UPMC for portable wheelchairs. A lot of times, the batteries will die in the middle of someplace, but he really wanted me to get the word out that UPMC had charger stations. And the Warner Theater does have a program tomorrow, I think at 5:30, on the plastics in our water. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just going to say thank you for letting me know about the Hammett situation. That's important to know with all of our future summer festivities.
Okay. Is that it? Meeting is adjourned.